Is that not a concern? That the source of magic is both death and toxic? Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stone-Faced Reactions. I'm Theta, and we're back with another episode of Witch Hat Atelier. It's been a while since the last recording, but I come back as I normally do with notes, comments, and a board. So let's go ahead and look at that board first thing, where I have added Alara and connected her to Qwifri with a green line. I added Thought Gray, but I don't know who he was with, so I can't really connect him to anybody. And then I added Brush Buddy and connected it to Coco with a green line. That is all of the board additions so far. Some of these first few notes are just notes for myself to keep track of things, not actual thoughts. Like, Qwifri is the problem child of the Great Hall. The group trying to spread magic to everyone else is known as the Brimmed Caps. 4 years ago, someone else used forbidden magic. Just as a note about the opening animation, there is a shot of Coco standing in front of some scales, looking back as two sets of hands extend to her two different types of hats. One is the classic witch's hat, but the other is a wide-brimmed hat, and we just learned in the pre-opening segment that the other group is known as the Brimmed Caps, implying that Coco will have a choice to make at some point in joining one group or the other. Coco asking to borrow a pair of shoes was both smart and ultimately unnecessary. I know, knowing how everything ends up, that it was unnecessary from the aspect that it didn't ultimately help. But I also mean from the element that she was allowed her components along with 3 contraptions. She could have drawn the flying sigil on her own shoes anyways, and come up with a 3rd contraption. Granted, she doesn't know many contraptions to start with, but it would have given her some room to ask. Remember how the pool at the start of the first episode had magic to cleanse itself? It seems to me that every piece of clothing a witch has should have a similar sigil inscribed into it. That way, the whole shoe and mud incident that Coco goes through never would happen. Drop into some water or mud, pull yourself out, and your stuff is ready to go moments later. Like, Back to the Future 2, when Marty falls into the water, gets out, and his jacket just automatically air dries him off. That, but with magic. I also want to reiterate that due to the curves of the shoes' soles, it would be impossible to complete the circles on the seals. You'd have to angle your feet one way in order to have the bottom of the circle lines touching, and then a completely different way to have the top of the circle lines touching. When Coco angles the shoes up to look at them herself, it's plain as day to see. I really liked the episode's pivot from being special to using what you know. It isn't that Agat and the others were born better or are inherently good at this. They have to practice and learn like anyone else. Coco has already been studying and learning just as long as they have, just for other things. Applying that different knowledge with what she's learned was the perfect way to express that her ability is just as good as everyone else's. I'm thinking the Bush Buddy is like a herbivore. We've seen multiple times that it's opened its mouth and it has bucked teeth, making me think of a beaver, so I'm attributing it a similar diet. And my final note, the unknown brimmed hat is following Coco, just like I said before. A theory I think I put out there, I believe, when I talked about the moth and the brimmed hat person showing Coco visions of events that would happen later. Things from the first episode, when they were giving her the book and the pen. And the moth thing was both leading her to that brimmed hat person in the first episode's flashback, but was also at that pool, flying away from her in the first episode as well. So, again, I don't think it's a non-connected thing. It could be like seeing grasshoppers, right? There's grasshoppers all over the place at a certain time of the year, but at the same time, we've only seen this thing twice. Anyway, as I said, we do have a comment, Canaris4 from the Patreon, from the episode The Grassland Learning Center. This was the first episode I watched. I figured, wow, fantasy shows these days sure are getting fast to the fantasy these days. They didn't even show her boring life as a muggle. Pink-haired girl seems Pinkie Pie coded, something I didn't realize back when I read the manga. I didn't know you read the manga. I mean, I guess that explains why you jumped ahead to watching a future episode. Edit, like she seems like if Pinkie Pie from My Little Pony Friendship is Magic was translated into Japanese, and then somebody made a character based on that. Well, I'm pretty sure you can look up My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, and it is translated into Japanese, so you can hear what Pinkie Pie sounds like in Japanese. Plus, I'm pretty sure there's an anthropomorphic version of Friendship is Magic, so you can see what person Pinkie Pie is like as well. Deku or Coco, who do you think would win a fight? First episodes only. Nobody. Nobody would win a fight. They wouldn't fight. The problem here is that you preface this to me without the impetus of what Death Battle does, which is to say they will get into a fight or create a scenario from which they would fight, because Deku wants to be a hero, so I can't imagine a scenario which he would go out of his way to get into a fight with Coco. And episode 1 Coco is just like a peasant girl. She's not going out of her way to pick a fight with Deku. Like, there's no scenario in the world where I could see that they would fight one another. Like, I don't want to be like ducking out of your question or anything, but at the end of the day, it's not a fight that would happen. So, and I want to be fair to the characters. You got to take in their personalities, if anything. So, yeah, that's my answer. Anyway, that was the comment. We've done the board. We've done my notes. Nothing left to do here but to hop on into the next episode and see what we get.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
数ある魔法の中でも特に重要とされているものが全部で4つあるんだ。
These are talking about the sigils themselves.
命の源を制御できる水の門。
There you go, sigils.
岩を砂へ、砂を岩へ。変化と移動を可能とする大地の門。足を運べぬあらゆる地への旅の不可能をなくし進歩を生んだ浮遊の門。
Okay, so we're attributing different types of magic to different types of elements.
炎の門。これら4つを魔法使いたちは四大基礎魔法と呼んでいるんだ。それじゃ早速やってみようか。
So you base the main pit around that sigil, and then the other things you draw around it influence how it affects the other stuff. I'm getting it. I still think you should be doing this out in the field and not in the building, especially considering what the first episode gave us. Legitimately, it's a contraption we know about and it's always around.
ありがとにありがと。で、ココは何をしてたの？浮遊魔法の練習で焚き火玉の魔法を書いてたの。
炎の門は実体のない現象を適度な大きさとバランスで保たないと危険だから取り扱いは慎重にね。
Again, do it outside.
ただ山脈をいきなり攻略できたのに、どうして今さら浮遊魔法？ジャバビューンって飛んだんでしょ？ジャバビューンって、ジャバババビューン。あの時にアガットから借りた飛び靴ダメにしちゃったんだ。ちゃんと直してから返そうと思って。あとはそこに魔法陣を書くだけなんだけど、線がどうしてもヘロヘロしちゃって。
Because it's physically impossible to draw a full circle on the soles of your shoes?
重さとか持ちやすさとか結構相性があるからな。これは僕のお下がりだし。実際に自分で持ってみて選んだ方がいいかもしれないね。
I mean, maybe tell him.
マザイ屋さんに。マザイ屋さん？
うん。 あらゆる魔法の道具が手に入る魔法の画材屋さん。
画材屋さん。
魔材屋さんに行こう。
Imagine it's gonna be like when Harry Potter went to that one place to get his wand.
今噛み締めてるので少し待ってください。
Anyway, what I was going to say is maybe she should tell him how she figured out how to draw her stuff at, what was it, Dada range? So that she can actually figure out a tool that's good for her. Because obviously I'm thinking now we should be looking for something like I don't know what that really was. I'm thinking it's just a sharp stone, but the element that she drew with it means it's more than just a stone. Well, she wrapped it in cloth and soaked it in both the ink and some water. I'm calling it ink. Obviously, I do have in my notes what it's actually called, because it's that certain kind of... We got it from our translations. Obviously, I don't have it right in front of me at the moment. There's also the element that I'm going to be picking out more and more stuff from the opening as we go along, as more stuff stands out to me. Obviously, at the moment, there's more stuff in the opening that alludes to stuff that will be happening than there is stuff that connects to things that we've actually already done. So I can't really have much to... I will have more to comment at the end of the show than obviously I do here at the beginning. I'm still way more interested in our next encounter with the brimmed caps, because obviously, as per my notes, I think that's on its way. I was going to question to myself, why isn't one of the other them flying? She ruined their shoes, of course. Witch's Town? You know, for me, like a cloistered group of shut-ins or people that stick to themselves, there's a lot of them. The moleworms are building-sized.
だから魔法使いたちが集まってアトリエ街になり、未だに橋も架けられていないんだよ。
このままココの観光に付き合ってたら時間がもったいないので、私先に行きます。見たいお店もあるし。
帰りはマザイ屋さんに集合だよ。
If you meet up there, isn't that the first place you're going?
できればもっと仲良くなりたいです。
I mean, there's the element that she either try to get you killed or evicted, one of the two. I wonder what determines the color of your robes. Personal choice or, like, master apprentice choice. No, because Quiffery's not wearing the same color as they are. And they're sort of wearing a different color. And those two in the back are wearing the same color. It's gonna be our brimmed hat person. Yeah, again, it's the first place we went. How is Agat gonna meet us here if they're doing their own thing? Is that going to be the tree thing that the ink is made from? No, that's not the name of it.
そんな基本的なことも知らんのか？
そう言わずに、ココはまだ弟子になって日が浅いんですよ。
おお、じゃあ この子が例の。
You'd have to anticipate that anyone who hasn't been doing it for long has to be an outsider.
わしもお前さんのことを知らんかったからおあいこじゃ。
この人はノルノーさん。マザイや星の剣の天使なんだよ。
さよう。ここにあるマザイは全部わしと孫のタータの作品じゃ。
Tarta, that's not the first one we just added, is it?
インクも何でもござれ。まあ僕も好きな濃度で抽出できるぞい。
No, that was Thotroy.
こことやら見せてあげるからついてきなされ。
That was a weird angle. I thought there was going to be something up with the stairs. Unless we're about to reveal somebody that we know or have seen before. Nope. Yeah, okay. I guess it can be important later. Okay, I was wrong again.
血だよ。
That's the name of the
死ん
ink.
だ時は白銀の木じゃが、死んだ枝は黒く染まる。こいつはそのままだと木にも人にも毒なんじゃが。
Is that not a concern?
落ちて湯に溶かした後、余分な
That the
水分を
source of
取り除
magic
けば
is both death and toxic?
魔法の源、魔木の原液になるんじゃ。
普通の炭は木を燃やした煙からススを採取して作るものなんだけど、魔木は違う。文字通り木から血をもらって作るんだ。だから銀葉樹は魔法使いにとってとても特別な木なんだよ。
その通り、不思議なことに他の木からは取れんのじゃ。
Again, though, only from its dead limbs.
そうそう。古い伝説もあるんだよ。
そうじゃ。遠い昔、銀葉樹が魔法使いに恋をしたという言い伝えもあるんじゃぞ。血をまぼく枝を杖として差し出して。杖？うん？
The Jesus tree
お前さんは杖を買いに来たのか。
also has like the feel of like a dragon, right? In fantasy, dragons just fuck anything. The silverwood tree fucks a
で
person.
は試し書き用に。 これをあげよう。ぴったりの杖がきっと見つかるはずじゃて。
Again, I'm just anticipating a rock.
テティアは軽めのが好きだな。どれがいいのかな。
Not supposed to split up.
どうしよう。わかんない。けど、ここ一人で行ったら迷子になる。じゃあ追いかけなくちゃ。
I mean, she's already gone out of sight. Also, I was anticipating that the grandson was going to carve her something.
何？アガト。どうしたの？アガトも来て。ちょっと。
I have no idea how you're keeping up with her when she seems to be turning corners every... Also, where the fuck did Quifrey go? Well, we've lost them. Nope, never mind.
ココ、待ちなさい。待って、ココ。 こ
So we better not lose Brush Buddy and all this.
何してるのココ。どこへ行くつもりよ。どこっていたの。私に禁止魔法の絵本を売った人。魔法使いが。あれ。
Sorry, when did we enter the back rooms?
でもはぐれなくてよかったね。お店戻る？ねえ、路地裏一本入っただけなのに街変わりすぎ。筆虫もいない。
Okay, they did enter an other place.
全然違う。
And Brush Buddy's just outside of it.
壁も床もカルンにはない白い石だわ。つまりここはカルンじゃない。
Yeah, I think you can look up into the sky and realize that.
テティアの言うことも一理あるかも。知らない間に体を直接転移させられたってこと。でもそういう魔法はダメなんじゃないの？だってそれって禁止魔法。
Oh, who would have guessed that the Forbidden Witch would have cast Forbidden Magic?
ちょっとテティア、どうしたの？テティア、落ち着きなさい。一体何を見たの？見たっていうか、見つかっちゃったっていうか。
Ooh, that's scary.
他の子に用はなかったんだけど。
Could be a Minotaur? Nope, guessed wrong again. I'm not good at guessing for this show.
ようこそ魔法の世界へ。君は私たちの希望だ。
So they're grooming her for something.
おいや、飽きて散歩でも行ったかの。
飽きませんよ。この店以上に楽しいところは他にない。一日中見てられます。
よせやい、照れるわ。
それにあなたにお礼も言わずいなくなるような子たちじゃないんです。一体どこに？
俺見てたけど、なんか変な格好の魔法使いを追いかけていったぜ。確か目玉みたいな仮面の。
And Quiffery knows what they look like.
そのまま目をそらしちゃダメよ。ゆっくり距離を取るの。
Was it a T-Rex situation?
だったら合図するから全力で走るのよ。
Two out of the four can fly.
そのままそのまま。 今よ。
That wasn't even close, far enough away. Fair enough, it is a blue dragon.
今のうちよ。走って。 炎の魔文に風をまく矢の魔法よ。今の一瞬で。
Makes sense, fireball.
まさか魔炎手帳にあらかじめ書き溜めておけば、いざって時に陣を閉じるだけで魔法を使えるでしょ。
Literally in a book that you read. I translated that.
まずいよ、こっち行き止まりだよ。他の道に。
What, did you only draw fireball spells?
どうしよう。ドラゴンに追いつかれて食べられちゃう。死にたくない。テティアまだ世界に何の魔法も残してないのに、どうしてこんなことに。
Uh-oh.
テティア、しっかりして。私たちは
The friendliest one was the first
な
one
んとかするの。
to regret Coco.
私が壁崩しの魔法で抜け穴を作るから、リチェとテティアは時間を稼いで。うん、わかった。どこに書こうかしら。その辺がいい。書き出して。ねえ、アガト、ちょっと来て。目が私のせいだって言ってるのがわかった。
Unavoidable.
そうね。とりあえずそれで良さそう。でも、その通りだ。
Are we instantly going to jump into self-sacrifice?
お願い。飛んでけ。あれで少しだ
Is
け
this like a pocket dimension, or are we like underground somewhere?
ナイス。テティア、すごい。
Yeah, those are stairs.
あれはねえ、アガト。ごめん、私。何考えてるのよ。書いてる時に触るなんて。ごめん、わざとじゃないの。わざとじゃない。そうでしょうね。母親を石に変えたのも私たち
Oh, fuck off.
そんなつもりはなかったって言うんでしょ。
I mean, Coco's to blame too, but fuck off.
無知も無学もその自覚があるなら、もう何もしないことね。どうする。書き直す時間はないわ。戻って別の道を探すしか。大丈夫。
Again, I'm just expecting Coco to make a run for the thing that she saw.
よかった。お手柄よ、リチェ。急いでここから離れましょう。
Hey, especially with those rocks on the ground, now she could do something.
この場所からって意味よ。別にどっちの意味にとってもらってもいいけど。テティア。
Now, go ahead, Coco. Turn around. Turn around and go to that thing that you saw.
キーフリー先生、私どうしたら。
キーフリー、あの子たちはおったか。
I mean, maybe they should carry those little communications devices too.
建物の外には
It'll really be helpful in this situation, I feel like.
ツバーリ棒が向こうから直接接触してくるなんて。
あれがつわり。
まさかこんなところにおるとは。
奴らは古の時代の帽子や仮面で
So apparently Clifford is the only one that recognizes them on sight.
危険な連中だ。個々の存在が手がかりになると思
It
っ
was
て
that
いた
moth
けど
thing I was talking about in the
まさか
notes.
直接接触してくるなんて。タータ君、何か他に覚えてないかい？何でもいいんだ。
ごめんなさい。あんまり覚えてないや。
そうか。君はココの連れてきた筆虫だね。あの子たちと一緒だったのかい？
Also convenient that the brush buddy understands English. Assuming it's not a person shapeshifted or something.
そろそろ日が暮れる。どうかみんな無事でいてくれ。
You saw the flash from the regular dark that they had before to the dark that the ending credits uses. Also, it's been a long time, actually. I don't even remember if these are the normal ending credits. There's something special about Coco that makes the brimmed hats, or at least that one specific brimmed hat, think that she's going to be the solution to something, or the hope. And the only thing I can think of is that we have never once covered who her dad might be. Yeah, this has to be a special ending specifically for this episode. Or this arc. Yeah, we've never covered who her dad is. We already know what happened, who her mother is, and what happened to her mother vis-a-vis her. Maybe the brimmed hat person is her dad. I mean, it'd be really weird in my mind that her mother would have hidden the fact, with her obsession about witches. Actually, that makes a lot of sense. Actually, I'm thinking about it. That her mother was pushing her away from witchcraft specifically because her dad was a witch. I don't know. That's my guess at the moment. Could be anything else, obviously. All right, next episode is going to be where we're at right now. Obviously, I think the impetus here is still mostly on Agat and her constantly desiring to push Coco away, but in the moment, I can't say that Agat is like 100% wrong here. Coco is chasing someone down in a place where we've specifically been told not to separate. In doing so, she's dragged everybody else with her via their concern for her well-being. She did tap somebody on the back who was actively drawing the spell that helped them escape, messing it up. Although clearly that wasn't as big of a deal as meant to be, because Rika just did it herself. But at the same time, Agat is such a bitch. Take it. I'm just talking about the maze, but take it however you will. I guess at the point, there's no reason for them to suspect that Coco has any insight that they themselves wouldn't have, especially given the element that Coco is so new to the magical world that they would probably have more insight into anything than she would. But, us being the viewer of a narrative have the insight to see that she is like the main character. So obviously something is going on with her. Plus we've got the voice lines from the Brim Hat that nobody else can hear but us. So there's a lot more information that we have that they don't. So their assholishness is only an element of where they're at in the world. So you can't get on them for being assholes from the perspective that they have, because from the perspective that they have, them being assholes makes sense. I mean, the problem here is that I'm basically in an Apothecary Diaries situation. We are being introduced to the mystery and the mythos, but I don't have much to go on because we need more information. Essentially, we're like in an Apothecary two-parter episode. We've been introduced to just the basest level of things in the mystery, and next episode's going to solve it. So we're going to have to jump on board immediately and put all the things that we just uncovered together to then add it to what's being uncovered or the reveals to try and see if we can jump ahead of it before it's revealed to us. Now, I'm not saying that I feel like next episode everything's going to be revealed to us. Certainly not. I feel like this is a greater mystery. I just feel like that I'm in the path of what an Apothecary episode two-parter would be. Other than that, the element that the Silverwood tree is the source of Woodcur, which, I guess if you weren't translating all of the book material, as I've done, then this would be the first place that you would actually find out where the ink comes from, or that there was any sort of difference between magical ink and normal ink. But of course, I've already figured that out via the translation, although I think that was the main thing from the translation. The Woodcur, everything else, including the palm notepad things, was also there. Again, I don't think there's going to be anything special to come out of those book translations that I have already taken that the show is going to surprise me with. Let's see. Other than that, yeah, I mean, there's still the Qwifri suspicion. I'm still also wondering why one of his lenses is black. It could be that that's also a magical item that we haven't been privy to yet. That it can see something specifically Cowboy Bebop. One eye is fake, one eye is real. One eye is always seeing the past, and one eye can only see the present. I don't know. Obviously, I'm just suspicious of everything with Qwifrey at this point. I guess that's everything. I feel like I commentated on everything as it was happening, and otherwise this was a 3-part episode. You know, going to Kalhn, the shop itself, and then the chase and the labyrinth. And most everything important happened at the labyrinth. So, and I believe that's where all my commentary was at. So, I guess all that said, once again, I have been Theta, this has been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you again next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?